All right, it looks like we're holding steady. So welcome, folks, to the Arlington High School Senior Parents Forum. If you're from Arlington, Virginia, you found the wrong forum. This one's for Arlington, Massachusetts. It's very strange right now because I'm staring at a blank screen, so I don't have you guys to give me any sort of emotional feedback, but hopefully we'll do this pretty well. So we have a group of folks who've been working really hard on senior events, end of the year planning, graduation planning for the seniors. Those are our deans, Ms. Tivnan, Mr. DiLoretto, Mr. McKnight, our assistant principal, Mr. McCarthy. We have Danielle Rakowski, who is our lead college counselor, and we have Joanna Began, who will probably take up about half of this presentation with information about graduation. She is a math teacher, and she really does this as an act of love, so we really appreciate all the work she puts into it. So the things that we're going to talk about tonight are going to be college planning and counseling, awards and how we're handling those this year, the yearbook. I'll speak a little bit about that on behalf of Ms. Clark and Ms. Donahue, who are not able to be here tonight. We'll talk a little bit about returning and retrieving items to and from the school, deliveries of items that are going out to your homes, details of the graduation events, that'll be the biggest part, and then a little conversation about future celebrations. So a couple of points to know just technically about how this works. If you look down on the bottom of your screen, you should see a Q&A button. If you push on the Q&A button, you can submit questions to us. We will see the questions. If we type an answer to the questions, everybody will see that answer. We'll either type an answer back to you, we'll deal with those in the conversation, we'll get to some at the end. And if we don't get to your question in the course of this, we will follow up and we'll be posting the answers to the questions later. And we'll talk about a lot of that at the end. So, if we were not in the situation we're in right now, tomorrow would be the last day of exams for seniors. And as it is, it's the last day of the audit term. Students are wrapping up, and we'd be going into normally senior week. Tomorrow would be the prom. And so we are all feeling an enormous sense of loss right now. And so we'll talk positively about the things we've done, but I want to acknowledge that we're all grieving the loss of a normal senior year. And there've been a lot of messages and a lot of conversations about that, but we know there's no replacement here. One thing that came out just this afternoon after we'd set up this whole presentation was guidance from the Department of Education on graduations. And the upshot of their guidance was that all graduations between now and July 19th at the earliest should be virtual or involve social distancing like car caravan, which is the sort of thing we're doing. And then even in July, it's unclear what will be possible to happen, but the restrictions are pretty extreme in terms of what you would be able to do for an outdoor graduation in July. So one of the things I want to explain right from the start in everything we're doing is that we felt that it was important to acknowledge the seniors now as they're actually wrapping up their year, as they're actually going through this experience, and as they're actually graduating. There will be future conversations, but we'll come back to those most likely in mid-June as we have more information from policymakers and epidemiologists. Right now, what we want to talk about is how to make this experience as positive an experience as possible, and something meaningful that I think they will remember and be able to cherish. So, without further ado, I'm going to hand over the reins to Ms. Rakowski. Ms. Rakowski is going to talk to you about college planning and college counseling. Mr. Rakowski, next slide.
Hi, everyone. I will try to address some questions that have been put out there throughout my conversation, and please chime in with more questions as I go along if I miss anything. So to start off, I wanted to talk about some college planning and counseling. And I want to start with some college decisions and deposit information. As you may or may not know, many colleges have extended their deposit deadlines for enrollment for the fall of 2020. Other schools have reduced deposit fees, and some have even waived the deposit fees. There are still colleges out there accepting applications due to this pandemic. They have extended their deadlines for more students to apply, so please check with specific college websites for any changes and updates. The counselors as well have been staying on top of this, so if anything comes up, please let us know and we can help you brainstorm. Second, the senior survey and Naviance. We kindly ask that the seniors fill out the survey. This will give us the data needed for future students when they are doing research on colleges. I'm sure many of you know how helpful that was for you when you were looking last year. In addition, we need to know where the student will be attending in the fall so we can send their final transcript, which is a requirement for all colleges. This is also a requirement for graduation, and unfortunately, you will have a hold slip if you do not fill this out. In terms of transcript fees, the bills were sent out over email, and we acknowledge that many of you have already paid, so thank you. Please forward the payment as soon as possible if you still need to pay. And if you have any kind of hardship at all at this time, please reach out to your school counselor so we can help you out with the fee. In the distribution process, you will be receiving your cumulative file, which is actually very exciting for a lot of seniors. This is your K through 12 file, and it consists of information that has been collected since you were in kindergarten, if you have attended the Arlington Public School system since then. You will get this with your cap and gown, and more info about this will come later in this presentation. Many of you are confused and have questions about audits on transcripts. Colleges realize that everyone has different circumstances, and we as counselors feel that it will not impact the college decisions for your class. Some students have been unable to audit, and colleges will understand special circumstances. Some of the counselors have spoken with some colleges and universities, and as long as we send a description of what was offered and what audit means, colleges will get the full picture. We also understand that some of you are worried about your grades. If you notice any discrepancy or if you have any questions, please email us as well. In terms of final transcripts to colleges, there is no need for you to request any final transcripts. We automatically send it to the college that the student plans on attending. We send these out electronically, but will not do so if we don't have your senior survey or transcript fees. Final transcripts will be sent once the audit is completed, and our anticipated date is around June 18th. Just reading the questions. Okay. I'm going to move on to scholarships and awards night. Just give you some information. Make sure the slide is, yep, thank you very much. So Senior Awards Night, which was originally scheduled for June 4th, has been canceled due to school closure. We understand that some parents and students are saddened by not having an official awards night. We are thankful and fortunate that we're able to give scholarships and awards this year. We will be acknowledging your hard work and great accomplishments. The good news is that senior awards and scholarships will just in a different format. Scholarships and awards will either be mailed or distributed with other senior mailings or distributions. More specific information about distributions will be released soon. The students will be recognized in the graduation program as well as the Arlington Advocate. In addition, they will receive a letter detailing what the scholarship is for and a note from the donor. Scholarship checks will be issued to the students by the end of June. Due to the COVID-19 global pandemic, donors, businesses, and fundraising have been vastly impacted. Unfortunately, the funds are down and fewer scholarships have been awarded. The scholarship committee, private donors, and the town of Arlington funded as much as they could given the current economic landscape. Given the limited funding, the specific criteria for scholarships was extremely selective this year. For example, extenuating circumstances, financial need, majors in colleges, etc. We completely understand that many of you may be losing your minds, feeling sad with all this uncertainty. So I wanted to reinforce that all of the counselors are here for you. Email us, reach out, and we are happy to help in any way possible. We can answer your questions and offer you resources. Thank you.
Matthew, you're on mute.
There we go. Sorry about that. I didn't see the slide up there. This is Dr. Janger again. I'm speaking for Ms. Clark and Ms. Donahue. So one of the challenges of the yearbook this year was that we had no spring events, and so spring activities were interrupted. In many cases, whether they'd started or not, professional photos had not been taken. We're about 2/3 of the way through creating the yearbook. So a spring section has been created from photos that were requested of students, teachers, coaches, and we've also used pictures from 2019 of the teams and other events and groups. So they're putting together a representation of spring events and spring groups that hopefully will be a positive representation. We're also making an effort to acknowledge with letters and other comments the specific and strange instances of this COVID-19 closure. One new feature that we're adding, because students will not be able to receive and physically get their yearbook signed, is a digital yearbook signing program. And so the way that works is students will be sent a link. They will register for the digital signing pages. They will get a unique URL that they can send to their friends. Their friends can then go on and design signatures and other things that then will be sent. The final version will be sent to each student, and they can print those out and put them into their yearbooks. So hopefully that'll be a way that we can collect and gather and do some social media work around having signatures and other representations. The yearbook printing has been a challenge. A lot of the printing companies have gone on and offline, but the expectation is that they will be available at the end of June. So most likely they will not be presented or distributed before graduation. And depending on when they come in, we have a few different items we'll mention during this presentation that will be distributed by mail, delivered as a bundle, or will set up as part of some sort of a retrieval. We don't want people to have to come in 4 times. We don't have to go out 4 times. So depending on when each of these different items comes in, we'll bundle them together and get them out to you. So that's one important reason to make sure we have contact information and that you stay in contact with the school and that you fill out the senior exit survey. Next slide. So this should be Mr. McCarthy.
Yes, so as you'll notice, we are started the process for returning senior materials. You would have received an email from me 2 days ago. The form is also linked in this slide, and it is posted in the senior events. We're using the Board of Health recommended precautions, and seniors are to schedule a time to come to the building to return textbooks, Chromebooks if they've borrowed any, media center materials, athletic equipment. They will come to the building, clean out their locker, and deliver their materials to us. If the student is in a specialized program or is part of a programmatic process, those teachers will be reaching out to the individual students and parents to schedule a separate time where they can access the room itself. That will be coming out shortly. If you are unable to attend these dates, which is May 21st through the 23rd, we will be scheduling additional pickup days between now and the end of June.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to speak about the upcoming deliveries that will be made to the seniors tomorrow between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. There will be a delivery made that will include caps, gowns, stoles, tassels, diploma covers, student files, a senior t-shirt, and a surprise that has been organized by Arlington parents, many of whom are senior parents. And so you know what I'm talking about. One of the questions that was raised in the Q&A was whether or not there were still caps and gowns available for students who did not order them. Carolyn Simmons has been in touch with Jostens and has arranged for the delivery of extra caps and gowns. Those can be purchased for $35. Please contact Carolyn Simmons at the email address that I put in the chat as soon as possible, and she will talk to you about the details of that. It is very important for us, as you will learn about the upcoming pieces of the graduation, that we are hoping to have all of our seniors in their caps and gowns with diploma covers for the photo shoot, which is why we are getting these out as soon as possible, with as much as we can provide. If there are any complications, incomplete packages, I was there in person to oversee this, so it's as accurate as I know can be. But if there's anything missing, please reach out, contact me at pmcknight@arlington.k12.ma.us, or the people on this team, and we will take care of that for you. There will be upcoming deliveries. Included in the diploma covers are not the diplomas themselves. Those are not yet in our possession. We are looking to deliver those along with some party supplies for the caravan in the week prior to graduation. Among some of the cap and gown packages that are being delivered tomorrow, there will be hold slips. Typically, at this point, we would not be releasing caps and gowns to students until those hold slips had been resolved. These are for outstanding transcript fees and community service. Later in the year, they would be for unreturned materials. However, as I said, because of the photo session is so important, we are distributing the caps and gowns regardless of hold slip status. And then the next delivery, diplomas will be released as long as graduation requirements have been met. For some, the most outstanding one would be a few hours of community service. And then as far as unreturned materials, library materials, textbooks, the completion of the senior survey, or payment of transcript fees, while the diplomas have been released, we will hold the release of final transcripts until those obligations have been resolved. You may advance to the next slide.
Hi, my name is Joanna Began. I'm a math teacher and I am graduation coordinator. So when we really started to look at what graduation was, we decided that the best way to celebrate graduation this year is to separate it into a 3-part event. So the first part will be the photo and film call, which is your sentimental memento. I keep on telling students and faculty, I'm not really sure where my diploma is, but I do know where that picture is in my mother's dining room of me graduating high school. So we wanted to make sure that that was something that you could still have. The second part is the streaming ceremony, which is to honor our graduates and their families. And then the last is the car caravan, which is the pomp and circumstance, the event that makes us feel like the whole entire community is supporting us. Next slide. So this is just a reminder that graduates, their families, and school personnel and others who may attend, please do not attend anything if you are feeling any sort of illness. And so this is just, the state has asked us to put this in all of our publications. So you'll see this on everything that we put out. Next slide. So the first part of graduation happens next week. This is the photo and film call. This will happen on the 26th, the 27th, or the 30th, each night from 3 to 6 p.m. The rain date is the 31st. It will take place at the St. Camilla's Parish in Arlington in their parking lot. You and your immediate family group, 1 car, are invited to come and get your picture taken to commemorate this significant milestone. This will also be filmed and used in the streaming celebration. So the way 2 pictures will be taken, one with the family group and one with the individual. All seniors will be getting a 5x7 of the individual for free, and then additional photos may be ordered. We are using local photographers. Michael Rose is taking the lead, and then he has 2 other local photographers. That is a typo that I will fix. Next slide. So how do you sign up? If you have not done so already, you are going to go to either the senior info page, or you can do it right from this slideshow. You're going to click, and that will take you to a page. Now, to ensure that we don't have too many people arriving at once, we have taken each night and broken it up into 30-minute time slots. We have 20 tickets for every 30-minute time slot. So when you are signing up, you need to click on the 30-minute time slot that you wish, and then you will be brought to this screen that you see after you type in the password AHS. And then you will click on that red button that you see right there, select a time, and it will prompt you and take you through sign up. Please use graduate's name when you are registering. If you've already registered, don't worry, there's no need to go back and fix it. And every family needs to only have 1 ticket. If for some reason you are a family that needs let's say that you are a divorced family and you would like to have 2 separate family photos taken, that can be arranged, and I just ask that you email me so that we can figure out logistics. Next slide. Okay, so the day of the event. The graduates should be wearing their cap and gown and have their diploma cover with them. Please come anytime during your half-hour slot. Do not come early, and please try not to come late. You will need to stay in your car until you are next in line, and a volunteer will instruct you on what you will need to do. All the volunteers will be wearing masks. We did get special permission from the Board of Health, since you guys are getting your pictures taken, to not have the families wear masks. The photographer and the videographer will be 6 to 10 feet away, so this will not be an issue. So what we will be doing is you will take the family photo, then we will take the individual photo, and then you will be doing you will be posing with your diploma cover, so that when your name is called during the ceremony, there will be an image attached to that. We do ask that you enter through the Wadsworth Road entrance to the St. Camilla's Parish. Next slide. So this is basically what's going to happen. So we're going to have you enter from Wadsworth Road. You will be directed to one of the 3 spots. You will stay in line in your car, and then you will go up, and gradually you will get your picture taken, and then you will exit via Dow Ave. If you are not coming by car and you are coming by bus, there is a bus stop right there, and we will ask you to then go to station 1, and we will fit you in and have a separate line for that. Next slide. Okay, part 2 of graduation is the streaming ceremony. This will take place June 6th at 5 p.m. For those of you who are concerned that this is going to run, we purposely made this happen after the Obama graduation. So if you are watching and participating in that, you will be able to come over and see this. The graduation will include all the traditional parts of graduation. You will have speeches from administrators, teachers, and students. And you will, and then we will also be incorporating in personal touches to make this ceremony special and unique for the class of 2020. This ceremony will include a name call with either your filmed diploma from the photo shoot, or it will have a picture of each student. To watch this, it will be live streamed on YouTube and also on Facebook through ACMi. so that you can set up Facebook watch parties. We will be putting out more information next week on how to set up a watch party and the best way to view this with your family. Now, this is for the live stream. So what will happen is we will be live streaming this, and then afterwards it will be off of the internet until Monday morning, the 8th, where it will be permanently put onto the ACMi YouTube channel. So if there is someone in your family who is unable to watch it at 5 p.m. on June 6th, they will be able to watch it anytime after June 8th. Next slide, please. Finally, the car caravan. June 7th at 1 p.m. Lineup will start at noon, and we'll have more information to follow. Arlington Police helped us decide on the route and will be helping with traffic. Arlington Fire will be leading the caravan. Each family will have one car. The cars can be decorated as long as they are still safe and legal to drive. No one will be allowed outside of their car at any time. So there's one thing that we are still working on. We as teachers appreciate when we were reading the feedback that the number one thing that the seniors asked for in this caravan is to wave goodbye and see their teachers one last time. So we are working with the Board of Health to make that happen, and there is, and it's going to definitely happen for the high school faculty, but we are actually working on making it happen for those who are able from the Audison and even the elementary schools. You can sign up for the caravan there, and further guidelines will be posted and emailed soon, so make sure you sign up for the caravan so you get all important information. Next slide. So to help us, please help us spread the word. If you know anyone who lives in Arlington along the route or a business owner along the route, please encourage them to decorate their windows, their sidewalk, or their storefront to help celebrate the class of 2020. Arlington Board of Health has asked that only people who live on the route be out and cheering as graduates pass. ACMi will film the caravan as well as live stream it. And I will post a link for that so those of you who, family members who don't live on the route can still watch the caravan go by. Next slide. So now for the excitement. What does the route look like? So if you see the start button, letter A, we will be lining up at 37 Broadway. And then we have, the police has helped us contact the owner of the parking lot, and they feel confident in their ability to line cars up in that parking lot and then on to Broadway. So we will leave and travel down Broadway and then merge onto Mass Ave near the fire station. And then we will continue on Mass Ave past the high school. We will take a left onto Quincy Street to Appleton Place. We will take a right on and go past Audison onto Mass Ave, a left onto Forest, and then we will turn onto Summer. We will take, we'll go right on Summer past the Ed Burns Arena, and we will continue on Summer to the Mystic Valley Parkway. Then we will turn around at the Medford Street Rotary and return to Summer Street. This is so that the entire class can pass one another. This was one of the things that we were really excited about, is that we wanted the chance for everyone in the caravan to see all the other people in the caravan. If every person in the class participates in this, we will have roughly 1.3 miles of cars. So this is going to be quite the event. And then we will go and return to Summer Street. We will take a left onto Mill Street, past the rear of Arlington High School, and then we will be finished. So we will be finished on Mill Street, and then cars are asked to not congregate, but to head home after that. Next slide.
Well, that is me. So thank you very much, Joanna. And thanks to everybody else who presented. So I do want to just reiterate, folks have asked about other things we might do. I know there are lots of other activities that are happening outside of our organization at the high school in terms of creative things done by students, videos done by our student council. But most importantly, our plan again is that this is what we're going to do now. This is what we're focusing on. As you can see, it's a huge and detail-oriented undertaking. And so when we will get back together again in the middle of June, those of us who are still working, Joanna hopefully will be heading off for vacation, but we will get together and have a conversation with the Last Blast Committee, along with those folks who are able to participate, and take a look at what the epidemiologists and the policymakers are telling us. And at that point, whenever that time comes, we'll reach out to the students, we'll reach out to the community to see what people are interested in, where people are, what resources are there, and we will figure something out. And whether it carries more of the features of a traditional graduation, something like Last Blast, or something like a prom, or some combination, we will really figure it out at that time based on where the students are. So a special shout out to Lori Pescatori of the Last Blast Committee. She's been our contact person, and she's been really incredibly helpful with this and with a lot of the other good things that are going to be happening. I noted as people were doing this, a couple of questions I wanted to respond to, and I think Mr. McKnight may want to respond to that. Actually, you can go to the next slide. So we will be posting a video of this event, as well as a feed of the questions that were asked and answered. And so a couple of people emailed me around 7:15, 7:20. I hope that was just me being muted, and said that there was no volume. But if you have missed part of this because of technical difficulties, you will be able to check in and get that as well. Also, we have sent out, if you go to the senior info link, that link there on the bottom, the links right now on the screen are not live because we are presenting this. We're not sharing this with you, but we will share this with you as well. All of these links and all of this information can be found on the senior info page at spyponders.com. So please look there and you'll be able to find access to all of these things. But one of the things to do when you go there is, even if you have decided not to participate, perhaps you've left town there. I know many people have contacted us that they're traveling, they've gone somewhere else because they had other responsibilities. Please do let us know that you're not going to come so that we can plan accordingly. Mr. McKnight mentioned briefly community service. That is a graduation requirement. If students have not met the graduation requirements, they don't graduate. So if you've been contacted, if you're not sure, contact your deans and make sure that your students have completed community service. Right now, there's a whole list of ideas of things people can do remotely, but my best advice to you, if you write letters to nursing homes and your parents attest to the amount of time you spent, you can do that, and it's a very rewarding thing to do. There was a question about additional yearbooks. Those have all been printed. We were not planning on selling yearbooks after the date back a couple months ago when that closed. However, given the situation this year, when the printers are cleared and all of this stuff settles, I will be checking with Jostens to see if it's possible to do a small run of additional yearbooks, and I will send that information to the contact list we have at that time. So if you're interested, please contact me so I can get a sense of numbers and make sure to fill out the senior survey. So that, I think, is everything we have right now. Mr. McKnight, are there questions that we should reply to?
There is one question about the caravan. Will students be allowed to pop out of the sunroof of their car?
I don't think the police would strongly approve of driving under those conditions anyway. And I'm certainly not going to encourage it as a high school principal. But I don't think there will be disciplinary action taken on our part. Ms. Began, did you want to respond to that?
I am sorry. I was checking on my daughter who is screaming. Could you repeat what question that I need to answer?
Popping out of sunroofs. I said it was not advised.
I would also say it's not advised. I have a friend who has permanent brain damage because she decided to do this in college. And so I would actually very much not advise doing this because it greatly affected her future.
I think people, Mr. Chen wants to know if we can blast music. I expect people will be making a lot of noise. I hope actually that everybody will simulcast Pomp and Circumstance. That's just me. There's a question, Mr. McKnight, when will students find out the name of their senior sponsor? He's saying don't answer that question.
I would prefer not to answer at this time.
So this will be posted at spyponders.com, which is the school website. And if you click right there on the front, it says shutdown info. And if you look in there, there's senior info. It's pretty easy to find that link right on the front page.
I can also send out the link when this is over to the entire senior class again.
And Ms. Began, there's one question about should students wear caps and gowns during the caravan?
I think that's really up to you. I think it would be wonderful if you wore your caps and gowns because then they will know who in the car is the graduate. But I am certainly not going to turn you away if you show up to the caravan and you are not wearing your cap and gown.
And then looking back at the advanced questions, I think one question I'm not sure we answered was a question about how can our relatives view this? So this will be live streamed. Anybody can view it at the same link that we'll send out to everyone. The high school senior page needs.
Yeah, so I think this is to me. So to make the Eventbrite, I had to make it public, but I also didn't want anyone to be able to do it. So what I did was I added a password. So the password is AHS. So when you go to sign up on the for the photo and film next week, you will need the password AHS. And I think that is what that question is referring to. There is nothing else that should have a password.
And then transcript fees, I think that was answered before in the questions, but if you look at the, if you should have an email, but if you email your guidance counselor, you can get an answer to that question.
I can also answer that question, Dr. Janger. If students receive their caps, gowns, etc., and there is no hold slip, then the transcript fee has been paid.
Thought those were there. I didn't want to say it.
And yes,
does anyone know about letters from OMS?
I do not know about letters from OMS, only that some students have already received them. I can reach out to the 8th grade teachers and see if I can find out some more information about that. And I can also answer the next question. The National Honor Society and the METCO cords that go along with graduation will be going out tomorrow. Mr. McKnight, are they going out are all of them going out or only the ones that have met requirements?
So they're going out to to most of the NHS students if they have paid their dues and they have met requirements. There are a small number of students who have not. Ms. Collier, the NHS advisor, has been in touch with those students and she has details about settling up those responsibilities so that tassels can be released. If students bring payment of dues to the locker cleanout Friday or Saturday, we can distribute those tassels then.
Ms. Began, there was a question about grandparents, and my response was we are asking people to stick to the household. Do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, so when we were discussing with the Arlington Board of Health, the best way to do this, their recommendation to us was to please stick with your own your own household. So that is why we limited it to 1 car per family. And so we do not have the capacity to have extended family at this time. But I'm sure if you wanted to contact the photographer directly, he may be able to figure something out with your family at a different time. So the only cords which are given are the National Honor Society cords, I believe. The National World Language, I'm going to let Mr. McKnight answer this question. I only know about the National Honor Society cords.
So the National World Language Honor Society cords could not be ordered this year, but we will make a notification in the program to recognize those students.
If your family is a divorced family, please feel free to reach out to me as the slide indicates, and we can make a plan for next week that will make everything okay for the photo and film. The program will be sent with the diplomas the week of graduation. So it's going to the printer early next week, and then will be given out with the diploma and the party goodie bag. The approximate length of the June 6th ceremony is 1 hour, which has always been my dream for graduation. So I'm really excited that for once I've gotten it down to 1 hour and 15 minutes, but I'm very excited that we will have a 1 hour ceremony on the 6th.
It means she cut me and Dr. Bodie very short.
We have no idea how long the parade will take. This is something that no one has really done before. I'm sorry, I did not mean to call it a parade. It is not a parade. It is a caravan. And the caravan, we have no idea how long the caravan will take.
All right, well, I think that is probably good. Obviously, there will be more questions as we go forward. Please do check spyponders.com and check the senior info site. And also, I'm going to put a pitch out. One of the ways that I try to keep kind of answering little questions like this as they come in, you may not notice, but if you've seen the purple room before, I've been doing a daily announcement. The questions form you use to submit questions for this. If you submit questions in there, I will keep answering them. So if I keep getting answered questions that came up during this, again, I'll know we didn't answer them clearly and I will answer them again. So in order to help us to know kind of what's going on, in order to keep just sort of a day-to-day connection to what's going on, I'd recommend checking the daily post and the daily announcement, as well as the website. Thank you very much, and appreciate the kind words. And thank you to Adam Kurowski at IT, and thank you to all of the team that helped out with this. I think we're done exactly at 8 p.m.